I wonder what the I wonder what criminal violation would be the private use of a public endeavor, to make a profit, a private profit, and to make that profit by way of extortion, extorting payola from my mother's trust, threatening the trustee with criminal action against her beneficiary, me, should she not fess up and pay the extortion money. And the threat being criminalizing me as a felonious kidnapper. What criminal violation is that? And not go through with it. When you make a threat, you're supposed to go through with it. Not extort payola. I mean, that's kind of chintzy. Not bold and daring. That's scared, is what it is. But it's also criminal because it's using a public act, namely the second birth record of my son, which is intended to protect his identity, right? That's why it's there. It's not fraud in the sense that I used to think, because it's not a private act. I kind of sensed it would have to be a public agency to pull that off, because who else would get away with it? But I couldn't imagine why. I just thought, well, they'll make money off of it. It's a birth record, so they can monetize it. Well, yeah. But what excuse do they give to private parties, such as the foster family of my son? The excuse is, oh, we're creating an identity, your family name. He will not, because if he seeks his father, that will make his father a kidnapper. So we have to protect his father by protecting the identity of the son, and now the father's been stepped up to... No, that's legalizing kidnapping. I mean, that's legalizing the criminalization of reunification by calling it kidnapping. That is a bit of a misrepresentation, a bit of a stretch. Indeed. I can't get off this topic. This is so fascinating that why would a public entity go to so much trouble to create a fiction? See, I'm amused, right? Because I'm the one who thinks it's really a tragic joke. And it was more tragedy than humor in the beginning, and now it's more humor than it is tragedy, because it's so, well, absurd. And Child Protective Services, I don't want to say they're known or famous for their absurdity. Let's just say it's their most prominent characteristic is their absurdity. And if you sell fear to people, then you can sell them anything. Or you should be afraid. Are you afraid? Yes, give me an aspirin and I'll be better. That's what it sounds like. And our drug culture is geared the same way. Oh, you'll lose your job. You better have some coffee if you don't work hard enough. We are a fear-driven society. Truly, an impressive feat that we've... I mean, 150 years ago, we watched these westerns, they had a reason to be afraid. But nowadays, it's largely a fiction, especially when you consider what life was like in the 50s, 50 years ago. It was not fear-driven. So where'd the fear come from? And why would we think it's substantial? Are we that short in our memory that we can be brainwashed into just about anything? Just give this society enough time and they can be brainwashed to believe anything? We came out of a world war, and correct me if I'm wrong, but our historians tell us we won that war. We had good reason to be hunky-dory in the 50s. What happened? What happened? What has worn us down? Not another world war. What's wrong with us? Are we sick in the brain? What's going on? Or is it simply how we have commercialized the legal process, the judicial process, by basing it largely on fear? Well, what accessory would you like with your restraining order? Would you like a new identity so that now we can feloniously criminalize Vinyasi for kidnapping his son if he should even dare think of reunification, which is a legal process? We'll counter him with something better. We'll make him a felon. We'll make him a kidnapper. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Watch him squirm. And he thinks he can reunify with his son. Ha! We'll fix him. I mean... It truly... A guy could die laughing. Fighting the system. Right? You'd have to die laughing. What other way is there? It's so absurd. It's unbelievable. Now I know why TM was not good for the economy, because it's a fear-based economy. It isn't just the media, the nightly news, that's based on excitement and stress and bad news, which is how they make their bucks, how they draw in their audience. It's the whole of society. Well, when you look at the justice system and say that that's fear-based, okay, let's not say the whole of society is fear-based, but the justice, the legal system, which kind of indicates corruption, wouldn't you think? Accessorizing unnecessarily, Well, you better be afraid. You'll need extra protection. We'll give your son this new identity. We'll give him your family name. And that way we will criminalize reunification. Ha ha ha. Okay, I've said that already. But to base the justice system on fear is uncanny. It's truly absurd. I mean, it goes with Child Protective Services. Their absurdity, the lies they cooked up. Oh, God, I couldn't believe it. Just to manipulate, stay on top. So yeah, fear, insecurity. To feed off of the client's insecurity by giving them notions to be afraid of so as to justify, and that's called the justice system, to justify accessorizing with added leverage, legal advantage. Just to spin the ball a little bit more accelerated, as if they didn't drink enough coffee this morning. Maybe that's what's scaring them, freaking them out. They drink too much coffee and smoke too much cigarettes. Too many stimulants. Oh, wow, you watch TV, that's a stimulant right there. I watched 310 to Yuma last night, and it's kind of boring seeing it for the third time because it has no story. It's built on suspense. Fear. Right? I went to the movie theater and I saw it when it came out, and it was a nice movie, but now it's boring. It's nice to see Logan Lerman and Christian Slater and Russell Crowe and a very old Peter Fonda. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for still being in the movies, but it's boring. Because there's no story. It's shallow. It's banal. Once you get past the suspense by having seen it already, so I could see it was strictly based on commercialization, marketing, and not based on a long-lasting value that it would be one of a classic. No, they just wanted to make money, the studio. That's all. So when the justice system is engaged in accessorizing its clients, they're out for the same buck. Because they make money off of each offense. When you pull somebody in, they don't have to be guilty. All you have to do is arrest them, and they've already made some money off of the arrestee. So it's not unlike the Child Protective Services makes money off of each head, regardless of whether or not they get to keep them. Because if you try to get the child back, the child is now a ward of the court, and the parent now comes under welfare code. The parent was never a welfare worker, but unbeknownst to the parent is made a victim of this commercialization of the justice system. Because there are all these restrictions as a welfare worker, teacher, counselor, psychiatrist, they're welfare workers. So they come under welfare code. Parents don't come under welfare code, but if you criminalize the parent by claiming that they're a welfare worker and the parent doesn't know enough to object, and I did not at the time, because I never went to my own trial, for one thing, in which I was found guilty in absentia, then you don't realize the money they're making off of us by fitting us in cubbyholes where we don't belong. And it's amazing how many cubbyholes they have. So many different ways to make money off of us. By commercializing the justice system. Unbelievable. So I can say it's fear-based, but that's not the real motivation. From the client's point of view, yeah. But from the justice system's point of view, it's money. And lots of it. So we don't even have to talk about anything arcane like the monetization of a birth record, which is so arcane that most people don't know about that. Instead, let's just deal with things that we do know about. Actually, most people don't know that they make money off of us every time they arrest us and issue a ticket or a citation. So that's a little arcane too, but it's true. Just because we're kept ignorant doesn't mean it doesn't happen every time they write a violation. That's money in their bank account, in the city bank account or whatever, whoever is hiring the police to go out and arrest people. So it's amazing. So they counter the money making with fear, claiming that they're protecting us from a fiction. Meanwhile, they're making money. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. It's like going to the circus, only we're immersed in it and don't even see it. How deeply immersed we are in this circus act. And circus, how popular are circus acts these days? Circuses, the circus tent going around from town to town. You don't see that anymore to any great degree like it used to be. It was a big deal way back in the day, 80 years ago maybe, 100 years ago. Now we've become the circus. And this is all to prevent World War III, right? So this, we can call it improvement, progress. But it's a circus. We are immersed in a circus that we have become participants of. In a circus, it's different. You say, would you like to come up here and participate? Oh, sure, why not? But we don't even know we're participating in a grand scheme of becoming a circus performer. And we're the audience and we're the participants both. Meanwhile, they don't charge us at the door. They just charge us when we're born, which is the door. Our birth certificate is the first step in charging us to enter this circus tent, known as the corporate codes, which are just a means to an end to make money, predicated on the ideology of fear. So that's in a nutshell what's going on. And it's a circus because it's amusing to see it happening. Unbelievable. Amazing. To call me a felon? A kidnapper? Just because I want to reunify with my son? by letting him know that I exist, by publicly putting out his name on the internet and the knowledge of what I've gained surrounding his situation. That's called kidnapping? Kidnapping his false identity, his so-called protective custody, undermining that. But it was based on fear anyway. It wasn't based on anything. And the extra money it pulls in for the fearmongers who created that second identity. Oh, God, it's great for them. They need more money. So, the last thing it does is frighten me, if it's meant to. The last thing it does is put me in my place mentally, you know. Sticks and stones, but words will never, Because when you reason through it, it's so absurd, it's uncanny to take it seriously. And yet that's what Stanley Gensler said throughout the trial. Oh, this is such a serious trial, that we have to take this seriously. I can see why they criminalized reunification. Unbelievable. Should I change my mind at some point and decide to, hey, I got a raw deal here. And after a while figure things out. He said, I got to do something about this. Oh, we're ready for you. Better not to consider it. Oh, it's unbelievable. It gives me such a laugh. I'm telling you. It's a freak show. It's the corner of the circus having to do with freak shows. This is so freaky, it's uncanny. Unbelievable anybody would take this seriously. Anybody would even institute it in the justice system. Talk about a misrepresentation. It's not legal representation, it's misrepresentation. That's all it amounts to. Unbelievable. I can't stop talking about it. I'm so amazed that I've overlooked this possible interpretation of the second birth record for now 6 years. No, I found out about it 2 years ago. So for me to have overlooked this interpretation for the last 2 years amazes me, and simply vindicates that I don't think like they do. It's taken me this long to get to this perspective. So I guess something good is happening. I'm waking up. Ring! Little lights are going off. Oh, Vinny's waking up. Now let's see, we can't claim he's incompetent anymore, can we? What can we do? We're losing our grip. We better think of an angle and become more aggressive. Yeah, you do that. Amuse me. Are you listening? Hello?